Good day, good day. Hello, everybody. Brian here from quantlabsnet.com. Welcome to another edition of a video I'm putting out. This is to help people that are interested going from zero knowledge in algo trading, and where we're at with AI. And I'm also going to leverage interactive brokers to show you how to get something started with AI. I've now moved off of one AI agent from Kilo. C-line or Quine I've also played around with, but I'm now using Claude Code because I think it's the most advanced, kind of the easiest to work with as well. And I'm going to show you how I interface now with coding as of today in April 2026. It's very different from just hand coding, and I've been saying for the last number of days, I think concept of hand coding is dead. Let me show you why. All right. So let me get into my screen here. I'll just making sure it's all recording. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so you can see here in the background, I've got my IBKR running, and this right here, the leaning man, that's your trader workstation. Okay, I'm not going to show you how to run that. I've got a variety of documents to show you how to do that, but I just want to show you the general interfacing of how everything runs. So here we are with a bunch of different sessions I'm going to walk you through. Um, and we have installed Claude Code in Visual Studio, which is a standard editor from Microsoft. That's probably the most popular way to generate engines and all that fun stuff. So here I'm going to create a new session. All right. So I guess I click that little guy, and there's my new chat session. Everything's all chat now. Everything's all chat the way it started with ChatGPT, but with Claude Code, it's all chat. So what I'm going to show you first is um, the basics here. So this is now Claude Code that I've got installed running. There's Claude Code, and there's Claude Desktop. Desktop's for more, I'm finding, non-coders, like vibe coders that want to do all this stuff I'm showing you. But to be more successful with that, I prefer Claude Code, not Claude Code, the CLI tool, but just Claude. I'm just showing the memory management. That's it. Okay, so if I do my memory management, these are the available Claude models I have available as of April 2026. Right now, I'm running Opus. That's the most expensive model from Claude Anthropic. Um, the most advanced model out there. Haiku is always one generation behind, and usually it's the cheapest, most affordable. So I call it that. With Claude, it's the most advanced AI modeling out there versus anything else. And anybody that wants to be productive at what they do, willing to spend the price on Claude, this is the way to do it. Codex and all that, it's just subpar right now as it stands. Claude's been the leader in this field for a good couple of months now, and I think they seem to be the most innovative. They're the ones that came up with MCP servers and all that fun stuff and all that. Anyways, making sure you choose the right model. If you're starting out, just playing around, developing a little website, I think Haiku is good. Any other model is great for it. If you want real hardcore bugging, um, you may need Opus. Sonnet is the next level down, the in between Haiku and Opus. So Sonnet's good, but it's a little cheaper than Opus. Just depends on your types of requests that you're looking for. So there's that. So let's get out of out of Claude Code here. This will take me back to my prompt. Now I'm doing this all on Windows. I'm using PowerShell. This can run on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. I don't know the difference because I only use Windows. But there's that. Anyways, let me show you the structure of the code when you download this thing, if you're ever interested. I've got two versions. I'm going to talk about the non-career one, and then this is just playing around with getting started with algo trading. and using that for just experimenting with uh, coding and chatting with this thing. You can do very sophisticated stuff with it. I've got in here a variety of files. So I have here different start here PDFs. Okay. Um, so basically, they talk about the same thing. It's 62 pages. This will walk you through everything you need to know about Python, how to install it, how to set up your VS Code, the editor. I'm showing you just getting how to set up your IBKR account with Trader Workstation or TWS, how to configure it, which is very important right here. You don't need to have Anthropic subscription. Well, you do, but there's other ways to get around that where you don't need it, but you need the AI to talk to something. It could be open router, but if you're going to go this route, you're probably better off to get an API key from Anthropic. Also, we have the project setup, which I'm going to show you how to set up your Python. I'm going to show you some other debugging techniques you can use that will be helpful for you. There's dependencies for the Python packages, configuring, and so on and so forth. Okay. The other important things that I even forget is to run two major pieces. There's hub server, the hub server uh, script that basically you have your bots, your trading bots, strategies, whatever you want to use. They're interfacing with this hub server. Okay. And it's a hub server that takes all these requests from the bots and it translates them back into TWS, Trader Workstation or IBKR. And that's how it works. Because you can only allow one connection into interactive brokers at once, be it TWS, that's one connection. And let's say you go into the portal, log into interactive brokers, that's another connection. So we'll knock out your interactive brokers TWS connection. Only one connection can happen. And there's different ways to interface with interactive brokers. You could go through the web portal, you can go through the app, or you can go through any of the software like IBKR desktop, or in our case, IBKR Trader Workstation. Only one of those ways to connect and interact with brokers can work at once. If you use something else and running the other one, it'll get knocked out. Just so you know. We have here running our first trading bot. I'll show you how to do that. Some of the debugging and all the different types of bots we've got, and then it gets into just understanding the basics of the market data. So this start here will cover a lot of this. This is the first thing you look at when you download everything. Okay. But you see it covers a lot of the different scenarios. But in this video, I'm going to show you some other things that you can do. And towards the end of the video, I'll talk about more of the career stuff as well. This to me is very revolutionary on how I built this because, as I said, a lot of people come in and want to know where do I start? How do I use this thing? Blah, blah, blah. And it covers from the basics, all with Python, 100% of Python, and also with Interactive Brokers, which is the most popular retail broker out there for automation, algo trading. And also that it's the most popular out there. It's over 150 countries. That's why I use Interactive Brokers. And the other reason is it's got the lowest commissions as well. It's a very out of all the brokers to use, it's the most reliable, most popular. Their support's questionable, but I think once you get stuff set up, as with this, save a lot of time for you. This is the way to go. So again, we have all of the different components within interactive brokers. Okay. Um, and we've got here specs, readme, start here, all this different stuff. Some are in the PDF format. Some of them are in the markdown as well. Okay. And then we have the scripts themselves that we're talking about. And then in here, we've got all the different Python scripts that work together with the hub server on top of the March 4th, where this is where all of the different bots uh, work. Okay. So let me get into it. So here is our basically our Claude code. Now, as I said before, we've got Claude Code running in the terminal, PowerShell, or whatever your operating system is. And then what I strongly recommend is to download the VS, and for your VS Code, the Claude Code extension. You're way more productive with an interface through a professional IDE or programming editor like VS Code. Okay, and I'm going to show you some other sessions. I'm going to show you that will help you in the debugging. Okay, all right. So we've got here two of these working. Okay, um, right here. Okay, so to launch any in Windows, we are using the terminal and then the PowerShell to launch. Okay, so we have two that we need. Okay, so the first one we're going to run and make sure you're in the appropriate directory. What I like to do, just to be fancy, is just copy the path that you're running from, copy path, and then just do that. And then if you want the basics in your navigating in the terminal or PowerShell in this case, is you just, you know, change directory to wherever you want to go. Basic stuff, right? Okay, so in here we've got our different scripts in the root folder. So the first thing we need to run is this hub server. Okay, even I forgot to do this. Okay, now here we're going to launch hub server. So once you configure your TWS correctly, as I shown you in that PDF, um, in this PDF here, this one right here, I just showed you. This one start here. You configure TWS to get it working. Okay, pretty standard stuff. If you need to, you can watch a variety of different YouTube videos to show you how to set up the configuration for your TWS. Um, and this PDF will walk you through that. Okay, so once you get your IBKR trading hub is running and connected, it's now waiting for the different other bot scripts, what do you want to call them, to run. So as I said here, now we're in our March 4th folder right here. So we've got our root folder here. Here's a subfolder, March 4th. So in there, if we launch in that, we have the 4 different strategies to run. Now, in all of these, I have the first thing it does, it will connect into TWS, do a place order. And the other important thing that's very important is always make sure you when you launch your TWS that you're always launching in paper trading mode. Okay, you don't want to run this against a live trading account with live money at risk unless you know what you're doing. Okay. So in my case, if I run this one, Euro USD, okay, so it'll connect into the TWS, but it's actually connecting to the hub server.
Order
Okay.
filled.
And you can see it just placed the order.
Order
Okay.
filled.
And
Order filled.
yeah, so it's done the test order successfully. And in the hub server as well, you can see it's working. Okay. Everything's all good. And we've moved on and progressed from that message where this message here, the IBKR trading bot is ready and run to take all of the activity from that particular
Order
bot.
filled.
That's how to run each individual bot.
Order filled.
Right. Great. We got that.
Order
Okay.
filled.
And this is all simulated data. Make paper trading, as I said. Okay. Cool. So stop that. Now, each bot will run the same way. So we have here NVIDIA, SMA crossover. We have here gold, USD, Bollinger Momentum. So these are very simple, different bot examples in the code with comments. Again, this is all generated by AI, but it's very basic stuff. Okay, so it's going to show you all the comments, all of the appropriate logic in there, so you can reverse engineer it, understand it, just to get you started. Right? Okay. So if you're running outside of the U.S. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, I have another bot you could try to run against Australian time that will run against the Australian Stock Exchange at like my time, 10 o'clock, when the Australian markets are open. So that's as example. These two other ones should run at any time if it's a Euro USD or the gold USD. Okay. So these are different samples. I'm not going to get into how they work because, as I said, it's in the source code. All right. So we got all that working. We have here a variety of different comments made available. Let me just see here. Yeah. All the different PDFs, all the different Python scripts, all the different files, basically. Okay, so it's all working. So I want to go into some sessions here and how I'm working with Claude Code, AI. I've shown you how to manage all the different models from Claude with Claude. Okay, and that is coming back to running the CLI. This guy. Okay, I've shown you that earlier. Okay, so there's that. So I want to show you some sessions that are really important to understand. I am no longer hand coding anything. I'm chatting with the thing once set up. First thing I do is very confusing. I'll say, what model am I talking to? Am I going to be talking to the one set by a Claude? It's going to be Opus 4.6. Is it going to be Haiku 4.5? And it could change down the line if it's, let's say, Claude 5, 6, whatever. Same thing, right? It doesn't change anything really, just changing the model number and the model itself. Okay, so just to give you some examples, some chatting with it. Here's my question. This is the response. So I asked it to do something to replace all the models with another model from China, GLM. I reverted it. Okay, so here's where it will do the coding change for you from red, remove, and replace it with the green. Okay, so I asked it to revert the changes, did all that. Okay, so it's working, right? So here's another problem I came across. Packages and the Python environment, it can be a nightmare. Okay, you have Python 3, Python the command, and different virtual environments. Again, that's assuming you know how to manage Python, all your different interpreters, Python, and all your package management. In this case, it was crapping out at me saying that the Anthropic package was not available. So this is my prompt. When I ran the bot, it generated an error. So I said, I'm seeing these Anthropic package not installing or working. Does this mean I need another model? So I ran the model. Now this is a hint here. When you are feeding into a prompt using whatever model you want for any AI, usually it needs to know what prompt or what Python script you're running. So I'll copy the whole session, including the Python command I'm running. So I'm using Python 3 plus a script. So that's telling the AI what I'm running. On top of it, it knows where your error is if it's that advanced. Because right here, it'll say uh, in here, warning Anthropic package not installed. So the package is not there. It'll run, but you have some kind of errors. But you got to be on the lookout for these type of messages when you run it. Okay. So I ask it, fix it. So it said, this ran successfully without the Anthropic key. So then it gives me a response. And then I continue the chatting with it. And I'm still getting this error. Okay. No matter what I do. Okay. And as you can see here, I'm getting the error installed, including the command that I ran. In this case, I'm running it pip install. So at the bottom here, it figures out, oh, yeah, satisfied running. And then you run it, and then you rerun it again, right? And it'll figure out which Python interpreter you're running and what you need to run. So it'll go through everything, also including your environment. You may need to switch over to this if the Haiku or Sonnet model cannot figure it out, and you can upgrade or change the model to Opus for the deep debugging skill. Okay. So I said it's still happening, and it'll tell you to maybe kill some processes. It'll give you instructions on what to do. Okay. So I'm just showing you the chat session here. Okay, this is how advanced the AI is. So it tells me to kill one of the processes in Windows. because there's a conflict with the Python or the pip, right? Right here it says fill the process because it's going to instruct me to do that. So I run it, but I'm still getting the problem, right? And blah blah blah. You run it. You throw in the input. So just to give you some examples of what the AI does, I'm going to show you some other ones. Here's another session I came across. Think yeah. So that's some of the things you can do to play around if you run into diagnostic problems. You can ask the AI and virtually not have to hand code anything. All right. So there's that. Okay. So as I said, this is the Claude version. So if you go to my website, there's two versions of this. This is what I just showed you, the cheaper version of Claude only. Also, I purposely added. So if you're just interested in becoming, let's say, an independent quant or an independent algo trader, this is all you need. But there's a lot of people that want to know about career and what to do with career. So I've created this one for an extra $20 um, regarding the quant career. So in the only difference really is let me just find it here. This one here. The only difference is I've added a few extra PDFs about how to chat with the AI, as I showed you. I'm going to do it live now. Okay. Here we have different PDFs. So this one's about a complete guide using the AI to go through mock interviews. Okay. This is big. And I made it specifically for some big funds, some big firms, specifically like, let's say, Citadel, Two Sigma, Rentec, Jump as well. So if you're trying to use with third party modeling or a website that you pay monthly, lifetime, whatever they do, you don't have to do that. It's, I'm going to be honest, it's complete rubbish. Okay. Because this is a cheaper way to do it. You can do it one time if you want to go my route, or you could do it yourself. But you need a stable code base to work from that has a putting an algo trading project for you. That's what I just showed you. All right, so here, this is a fairly lengthy document, 106. Shows you how to set up Visual Studio, okay, in detail. It also shows you Visual Studio configuration, whatever operating system you're on, as well. Okay, Linux as well. It can run. How to configure it, and if okay. So now we need to know what extensions do we need for the Claude development, and that's where the Claude code comes in. Okay, so more stuff, more things to configure with. So if you want to go more advanced outside of Python, you can add in C++ or another popular language a lot of firms use R. Show you how to set up all that. You don't need to do that. This whole thing I'm showing you is just completely Python. Okay, but you can do the same process with C++ and even R. Okay, so here, how to use a terminal, in this case, PowerShell on Windows. Okay, the different projects, structures you can set up. You can also, if you wanted to do GitHub integration, if you want, you can do this all via the AI prompting. I don't provide it, just so you know. Here it shows you how to run the Anthropic Claude, even the Claude desktop, but I don't show that. How to access the subscriptions set up with Anthropic. Goes in a lot of detail here. How to set up your key from Anthropic. Again, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so there's all this configuration if you want to go through. What I just showed you as is still works. Okay, and I'll show you some examples. Claude Code, what it is, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it's about 30 pages in, but it's all there if you need it. All the different prompting, what to expect, um, so on and so forth. Again, I only run on Windows as well. So we should get to our point of integrating with VS Code. Okay. So just showing you what's in this document. Also, the editing, debugging, just kind of walk you through that. Okay, so this is it. Now, chapter 5, what everybody may want, job interview questions, what you can go through. So you have a code base to work from. Okay, you may have to set up yourself. In my case, what I just showed you here, this will work just fine. Okay. What I would recommend is to duplicate what you download if you buy this. Okay, so let's say copy it, paste it. Okay, so now we got a copy here. So I'm going to work off of that one. So close this VS Code session. Okay, so what I do myself, this everybody launches it differently. I run a new window and I open I select the folder. Okay, it's important to understand that. Open the folder, go into my source folder, um, right here, and this is my copy I just created. So I select that folder, boom, and I'm ready to go and start playing around. So what I do is I just try to minimize as many windows. We have, as I said, in my case, we got Klein, we got Kilo running, Rue code I played around with, but I'm going to be honest, just play it. I can't say it enough that I think Claude is enough. Okay, so now we can start prompting, asking questions. Going back to this PDF here, talks about all the tokens, blah, 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 blah. So we can set up different scenarios, right? So I haven't done this before, so let's see what happens. Just as an example, okay? So let's say I want, right here, I am going to ask it to create this bot. Okay, so here's the source code, okay? And I can show that it's no problem because there's no restrictions with interactive brokers in the terms of service as compared to um, as compared to Rhythmic. Okay, that's a different ballgame. But anyways, let me just figure this out. So let's create me a I don't know, create me a GBP USD mean reverting strategy bot. Okay, bot using uh, this one right here as the reference. Now everybody can do it differently. I'm just showing you how I do it. So in this case, using this bot, I just created as reference. So I'm going to do this live for you so you can see what's going on. Now, let me just copy this. Okay, fine. But I want to make sure what Claude model I'm talking to. So I'll go, what model am I talking to? Okay. So it's going to tell me Opus. That's what I set it as. I don't want to do this. I think it's too expensive. So I'm talking to Opus 4.6. So if I go back in here into any PowerShell session, go to my Claude Code itself, not the desktop, Claude Code, and switch the model. So if I go model, okay, here, Haiku, boom. So now I can see it's using Haiku. That's the cheapest model available to me. So I'll just get out, you know, clear, boom. Okay, so now I knew I was talking to that model, Opus, but now it's switched. So let me just see, what model am I talking to? Okay. So now it's going to tell me, hopefully, Haiku. Oh, no. Okay. So I have to get rid of this session, go back in and create a new session uh, with, uh, with, um, with Claude. Let me just see here. Hang on. So Claude Code again, new session. Get rid of that. So again, what model am I talking to? So I want to make sure I'm talking to Haiku. This is cheaper. If I continue doing this with Opus, it's going to be, I don't know, double my cost, let's say, but it's very expensive. So it's going to tell you what model. There you go. So now I'm talking to 4.5. It's telling me fastest and most compact model. Okay. So that's what I would recommend. So here we are. So now let's go back to my original prompt before this. This is what I'm going to
Market
create
data
me a
connection lost.
BBP mean reverting strategy bot using the
Market data
existing
connection
one.
re-established.
This one, the Euro USD RSI, but it's going to do a mean reverting strategy as reference. So I'm using this one that exists as a reference. So off it goes. Okay, watch this. This is live. So when you use AI with Claude, and it's good enough to do this sort of thing with Haiku, it's cheap. It'll create it for you, and it's amazing. It's very basic AI, but that's why I'm saying when you go into chat mode with AI for your coding, in terms of the in terms of the hand coding, as I said, it's dead. I'm showing you right here what's happening is it's going out based upon what I'm requesting it or prompting it to do and using something else as a reference. I've given you a number of ways to debug things if you run into problems. This is now going into the uh, custom generating bots for whatever you want, for whatever asset you want. There's a variety of things you can do just by asking it, by chatting with it. And usually Haiku is enough of a model to be able to fulfill these requests. But sometimes you may have to step it up to move to Sonnet, or even worse, have to set up um, the Opus. So here we are. It's done. Doesn't take long to do this manually. It take you a couple good hours a day. I don't know, but it literally took minutes. So basically, what's done is created this new RSI Forex bot with the RSI strategy. So because I'm using Haiku, it didn't recognize I wanted it to be mean reverting. Okay, so again, I've never done this before, but I'm just showing you some of the limitations. So it's using the RSI as a reference, but now that we have the basics running, but it's RSI, like I said, we want mean reverting. So let's go in here, and here's our new bot, source code null. Okay. Now, there's two ways you can handle this. You don't want RSI, you want mean reverting, right? So said, I asked for mean reverting, not RSI. Please, well, you don't even have to say please. It's a machine. You don't have to say thank you, please, and can you um, make a mean reverting strategy, not RSI. Okay, it's not case sensitive. It can be upper, all lowercase, lowercase, whatever. It's smart enough to be able to figure out upper and lowercase. Just so you know. So now it should go. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Um, oh, I'll give you a mean reverting strategy. So now it's going in, going. Oh, maybe. Oh, hang on. Now it's saying it's. Oh, yeah, right here. In green, that means it's changing it. That's the new code. The red code is what's being replaced or removed. Now, in quad code, you can configure it to say, don't ask me to do stuff, and just it won't prompt you as reading something or changing the code. You can bypass that in the settings in the Claude Code extension. So here it's replacing all the code. And it's doing it in front of you. Now, if you're using, let's say, OpenAI, ChatGPT, or Codex, sometimes it may not show you what it's doing. It'll just spin, and you don't know if it's working or not, and it'll give you the result a minute, 5 minutes later. Here, but it's telling you and showing you what it's doing. Okay, that's one of the other big things I like Claude for, because if you don't like something, you can always stop it and say revert back, and it'll reverse all the changes for you. Um, just as yeah. Okay. So we're just waiting for it to change from an RSI to to a mean reverting strategy. So it could take a bit. The more complicated you put in your request, the more that's what it's doing right now. It's orchestrating. It's running using computer utilization somewhere via the cloud off of, in this case, Claude or Anthropic servers. So this, the longer it takes to run, the more it's costing you. Now, because we're using Haiku, it would be the lowest cost. But if I had done what I originally did with Opus, probably would have figured out, it would have not just copied the previous Python script, Euro USD, created the GBP, British pound, US dollar, and at the same time would have created the mean reverting. It failed with Haiku, just to give you examples of what you run into. But in this case, we have to run two separate prompts to accomplish this with Haiku. So here's what it's done. Compared to the true mean reversion using Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands is probably one of the more popular mean reverting indicators out there. So price deviation, blah, 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 entry signal, all the conditions, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's got to set the moving average period at 20. Now it's assuming you're going to use daily data, right? Standard deviation multiplier at 2. And you can just tell, you can either hand code with it. Oh, sorry. And then there's a heartbeat as well back into the hub server, color coded, blah, blah, blah. This bot now should work. So here it is. Okay, let's take a look at it. So, as I said, hand coding to do this is kind of dead. You can do this all with AI. And specifically, it's better to do it with Claude models. It's just more advanced, more convenient, better output, um, slightly more expensive. But you always have to factor in its quality of output, its coding versus your time. If you're working with an open source, these are sort of simplistic ways to get around it. But if you're trying to do what I'm doing in a prior video with option trading in the future market, that's the only Claude can do that. I don't see myself ever using anything other than Claude to accomplish what I needed. It was that complex. Here's all the commenting using Haiku Claude, and that's another thing that it gives you nice uh, comments as well. So if you're new to Python, it'll explain what it's doing. You know, here's the mean reversion Forex bot, real market data from IBKR, simulated orders, blah, blah, blah. All the parameters, all the coding, all the logic, everything you need, right? So I could run it. I'll assume it runs. Well, let's give it a whirl. Okay, so our hub server is still running. Just make sure. So we'll run that. And then we will run the other one, the new script I just created. So we have here GBP. Yeah, here. So we're now, yeah, here, something messed up. Where's our script? So it's there. Okay. Let me just go into March. Oh, wrong. So we go here. Strange. Anyways, let me do this. Here's our script right here. I'll copy that to the path. Okay, that should run, technically. I'll throw in a, oh, I remember. Yes, I did change the copy folder. Yeah, let me just switch over. So we're switching over to our copied folder. That's what the problem was. Let me just do that again here. So this should
Market data connection lost.
okay.
Market data connection
Yeah,
reestablished.
here. Okay, let me do this way. Copy that folder. This is how I do stuff. I can probably look like a little goof trying to make these switches. Oh, I remember. Yeah, it's got spaces and all that. There we go. Finally, yeah. So here's our new script here, the GBP from the copied folder. Okay, so off it goes and runs. It's going to create a
Order
log.
filled.
Order filled. So it's now working
Order
with the
filled.
GBP USD, and off it goes. Let it run, and it's created. Now you can see here we've got an error. RSI here has no attribute RSI period. Now you have two choices. You can continue using painful Haiku for debugging. It's not very smart to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to Opus. Okay. These are just classic examples that I go through, debugging and whatnot. So I'm going to go back into Claude and I'll switch over to Opus. Okay. So we've got Opus now. Let me just confirm. Boom, there we go. We can escape, go back to our prompt. Yeah. Exit, and then clear that. And there we go. Ready to go. But I need to open up a new session here. Okay, because let me just see. Close this guy, and there we go. So I always want to make sure I'm talking to the right model I want. I want to talk to Opus. What model am I talking to? Now, this is only for debugging purposes, right? So it's going to tell me it's going to be talking now to Opus. So there you go. So now it's talking to Opus. Cool. So now we have this new script. Okay, it's got bugs. So generally, I want to save time, a little more. Well, maybe a lot more. Depends upon what you're trying to do. I'd probably recommend maybe as I call it, bring out the big guns. Okay, so we know we've got this problem with this new script that we just created, right? So now
Order
we go,
filled.
oh,
Order filled.
maybe it's running. Oh, right here. We want to clear that up. So there's a couple of ways to do this. You can either copy the whole session that I've shown you before. This is really important. You can do it any which way. Call me lazy, okay? But this is how I fixed this problem. Fix this. So I just copied that from the terminal PowerShell, and it will see what script I'm running, okay? Because I'm running this one right here, and it'll know exactly what error to fix. So watch. So now it's going to go through and it's going to figure out, oh, we got a problem here. So what it's going to do, it's going to fix the error. It's doing its thing. You can use any cheaper model, more affordable model. Codex will work. Some of the Chinese models. This is all basic stuff, okay? But I'm just for people that are really new to this and kind of willing to spend a bit of money, and just get up and running and resolve stuff very quickly because this can be very um, frustrating if you're new to coding. I just don't know what to do. See, it's working right. Identified the error right here, line 192. Maybe you don't even know what it is, right? So it's now fixed that error. This is the self thing. Okay, RSI period MAP. Now, if I created the bot, this Python script bot, Claude, we wouldn't going through this. I'm just showing you some of the stuff you may need to go through. Okay, so now it's fixed. Okay, cool. So if I go back in here, what should happen? Let's see if it runs. Okay. These are just some simple examples that
filled.
you go through. So you know this works.
Order filled.
Okay, this should be fixed. So we shouldn't see that error anymore because Opus fixed it, hopefully.
Order filled.
There you go. Simulated. Boom, boom, boom. Now it's collecting all the data.
Order
And
filled.
now it's working.
Order
So it's
partially
connected,
filled.
getting all the simulated
filled.
trading market data, and it's working.
Order filled.
So that's just one way to fix problems. Okay, beginners. I know it's a long video. Okay, so back to what we wanted. Let's get really hairy now. So we have capabilities to do mock interviews. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. So I don't know. We have a new we could get real crazy here. We could try to now. Remember, we're still running in Opus. Now, this is a typical question you may get. You may get a piece of code script, and then your interview will say, "Oh, well, we have a piece of code here. Implement an efficient order book data structure that implements the following operations: all zero log n, time or better, add order, cancel order, modification, go get best bid, get bid, get best ask, get volume at price, and so on. Get VWAP. Explain your design choices and analyze the complexity." Keith and I will go, "What? Okay, well, let's try that." So we want to now change this new piece of code we have. Okay, so we're going to do this to what we just changed, this BBP, British Pound, USD, RSI, Forex bot, which is really mean reversion. So now let's see. We're going to role play. Let's see what this comes up with the way it's set up. And remember, we're running Opus. So this is now going to go out and do its thing. This might take a while because we now have to move from open, high, low, close, and it's now going to switch over to less than a minute, meaning bid and ask. Okay. So it's going to figure it out. Okay. So this is why you'll never get this live with your third-party websites. LeetCode will not do this for you. This is how you look at what it's doing. Okay. It's giving you the logic of how it's applying the code based upon the request. And again, that's quite the jump from what we went to actually using bid and ask, all this cancel order. We're adding a lot of code to this. And we're switching from open, high, low, close to bid and ask. This is a big jump and change. Okay, so now it's asking to do grepping, reading against the code. And it's going to look at other available Python scripts in the project to try to figure it out. So it's going to go compare other Python scripts. Now, nothing like this exists. So it's now going to go out and try to create it for you. This is the impressive part. So if you're paying big money for a quant coach, you're not going to be able to do what AI can provide you. It's showing you what it's doing. And then you can look at, as I've shown you, the coding changes from the red to the green. This is how you learn. Okay. And this is just probably a fairly basic question you'll get in an interview for these high paying jobs. Okay. Just as an example. So now it takes a while. Remember, you have to use Opus for this. You could try to use Haiku. If you try to use Haiku, you're going to have all kinds of errors generated when you run it. To have this run on the get-go, meaning on the first attempt, and where it's running flawlessly, let's hope that what it's generating will be able to create this. So you can see here, good, no order book implementation. Now let me design the plan. That's pretty impressive. So it's now going to go out using Claude, whatever data sets available within the Anthropic environment. It'll go out online to GitHub and reference any projects that's related around that. They may build it from scratch. You'll see how it works. It's very powerful. So it's going through all the other Python scripts throughout this project. Now, just let me tell you something about this new Anthropic Claude Opus. Generally, when you're using something up to Opus, it's going to be only contained in this project, all the files within this VS Code project. With the new Mythos, it's going to go out and scan whatever it can get access to. Okay, so it's like Python now available for help desk. Okay, let's see what happens here. This is a big jump. Okay, just to give you an idea how it's built, you're expected to do this. So if you're trying to reverse engineer, this is the only way to learn, really, is by reverse engineering. So it's now writing a plan. Okay, telling what to do does not exist. Let's see. I could switch it over to plan mode, but I just said let's generate the code. So here it's going out and it's found. Not sure what it's doing here. It's got the markdown of some other agent. Um, that's probably within the Anthropic ecosystem. This is how powerful this is. So again, you're not needing to hand code this. Okay, you can just chat with the Opus or whatever Claude model. You could, as I said, you could do this with Client. You can do this with Rule Code. You can do this with even Kilo AI or any or Copilot. That's one. As I said, that get it running right away from the first, like flawlessly. You want to use Claude, preferably with this type of jump that we're going to, is only working with Claude Opus 4.6 as of today, April 19th. So I'm purposely doing this live, so you know that this is not smoke and mirrors. Okay, so I have to sit here waiting for this to generate. Now we can get more complicated, but I would seem to think that this is fairly simple. This is a senior level type of question. Okay. The junior level are much simpler. But if you go through this document here, okay, you can get uh, much more sophisticated. Okay, um, based upon quant related or more advanced technical indicators. Um, and then we can get into architecture. We can get into all kinds of stuff. So as I said, we use the code base as a reference. So as we add more code to this particular reference, which is the one you can download from my hftcode.com, as it said, this one or this one, you have a code base that you're working from, but it's very, very basic, very primitive, really. It's generating a new sophisticated piece of code for you. Let's see where it's at. So it's deciphering. So you can see here, exploring code base. Now it's designing the order book for you, and it's writing the implementation code for you. That's pretty good. So continuing along in the PDF, as this gets more sophisticated, more involved, okay, I do think what's going to happen is there's coders hired in jobs and firms, quant researchers. All of this is entailed in the same thing. I think with what I'm showing you and where it's at, I personally think that the concept of quant coders and quant researchers, either there's going to be a major shift in those jobs and you're going to be chatting and you're not expected to hand code anymore, or those jobs will be eliminated. Depends upon the firms. Whereas most will have to move into portfolio management and know trading inside out, knowing how to manage not just strategies, but other strategies combined with portfolio metrics. And on top of that, have the AI, as I'm showing you, to do all these things. So let's see where we're at here. I don't want to get too caught up here. So it's still creating creating the final plan. You can see how involved this is. It's going to be fairly expensive, just so you know. But I've increased my budget, so this is not a big deal for me. This could be an expensive thing here for you. So here's another example. You are a senior quant researcher, top tier systematic with 15 years experience. You have PhD in financial math from MIT, research multi-billion-dollar portfolios. So right there, you can see what just happened. You're managing multi-billion-dollar portfolios. So you're not just only portfolio manager of one set of strategies or trading desks. You, or no, this is who you are. Okay, so you're now researching and interviewing a quant researcher. So this is you now. So you're a candidate with a master's financial engineering, 3 years experience in a mid-tier asset management company. So here you're going to be asked all these technical interviews, strategy discussion, more quantitative problem solving. So this is typically what you're going to be asked. And this is a template of what to expect in the interview and what's expected out of you. Okay, so We just did a mock mean reversion strategy. So, as I said, we're now role playing. This is the more advanced stages in interviewing. And if you can't do this, you're not going to get this out of static questions being thrown at you from all these different websites, free, paid. You're not going to get this also from coaches. From my understanding with Quant, coaches, what they're telling you is how to respond and how to act as a person. That's it. It's not showing you how to properly prepare for these type of roles and these kind of these kind of advanced questions. So remember, we're not even halfway here. Okay. You can see here, you're going to role play. So it's going to give you a question here. Is this finished yet? Let's just, okay. So now it's going to start writing the code for you. See here, eventual forging. It's going to create some markdown documents for you as well. So here is a typical question. So we're going to role play in strategy development as you move up from quant coder, quant junior researcher. Again, this is all Python. You can do this and convert everything over to C++ if you want, which makes it much more complicated. So you're pitching a mean reversion strategy. Let's say the one we just did for a portfolio committee. You're consisting of a CIO, head of risk, head of technology. Present the strategy. You should ask challenging questions from each perspective. So you have your strategy. Now I can ask for the strategy to be coded up. Okay. Start by letting me present your questions. Be tough, challenging assumptions, backtesting methodology, and risk management. So you move up. Now you're being asked role playing questions. Again, you're not going to be asked this in third party quant coding websites. You have to know your code, yes, but we're moving from quant coding to quant trading and understanding portfolio management, understanding algorithmic concepts and trading concepts using quantitative techniques. Right? So this is going to be a typical question. You have a strategy with the back test showing 2.1 post transaction cost. You need to rebalance. Cross-sectional equity strategy turnover is going to be extremely high. Walk me through your transactional cost model. Are you using fixed base or are you using model making impact as a function of ADV? You can put that into the AI and see what it comes up with. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Okay, look, nope, still going from the prior scenario. So this is what you're going to do. So you're going to present this algorithmic model, okay, similar market cap impact model, and you assume to know this. You have a basis point assumption, small cap, the relationship, turnover, alpha decay. Again, when you see the word alpha or phrase alpha decay, that's now options trading. Okay, so that's why I stress you need to know. You really need to know when you move into this world. You need to know options. Okay, without options, you're going nowhere. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you that. And you have to know how to optimize and rebalance and know what the frequency is. This is what can happen. If you're a weak candidate, you assume fixed transaction costs, strong candidates model non-linear and show how the strategy degrades as assets under management increase. So again, this is now moving you into portfolio management. Okay, so now it's getting very advanced here. Even this is advanced for me. So with a stem of French factor exposure during a factor rotation or regime change. So here's a time frame in March 2020. Many mean reversion strategies experienced severe drawdowns. Show me your max drawdown during regime changes and explain how you risk manage your framework would have handled that period. This is now going into the multi-billion dollar, even $500,000 and up position. Okay. Let me just finish off this code. Remember, we're just switching from open, high, low, close with an order book here, just in this one step. Okay. Here it comes. Now, I'm not going to run it. Okay. I'll just show you the code once it's done. But again, coming back to this, this is the ideal answer you need to discuss to the head of portfolio management, right? you have to say, well, I've got this conditional risk analysis by regime, hidden Markov, blah, 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 based on realized volatility stop loss mechanisms at portfolio level, blah, 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 measuring the liquidity risk, acknowledging that the mean reversion strategy tend to underperform, blah, blah, blah. Okay? That's what you expected. There's no coding there in the question. But you now have to create a coding implementation of it. Just one scenario. One scenario for quant. Okay? So now we have statistical arbitrage. Okay? See if this is done. Oh, here. Okay, so this is done now. So look at the jump we've gone to. Okay, we now have an order book Python. Okay, this is what we expected with a bid and ask. It shows you what's been put in. Standard library, new dependencies, 4 classes, order, data class, price level, order book. Bid sorted, ascending. Okay. Complexity achieved, which was originally asked. Okay. This is a reminder. Here you go. This is the original question. All 0 log, better, add order, cancel order, all that. So it's done all that. Exactly what you want. And you most likely can only do this with Claude because anything else will be severely watered down. So here's what you're expecting. So assuming you have 100,000 orders, 1,000 price levels, again, it's capable in Python. Now, this is just simulating. You really need to be doing this in C++. And yes, Claude Opus can do this in C++ if need be. And if you specifically asked it to, in one of the FPGA languages, it could probably do that for you as well. Even if it couldn't, it still could definitely build a pseudocode for you. Okay? So here's the number of queries per second. Again, not high frequency trading in Python, but it gives you something to work off of and tells you what data structure to use for FIFO order, incremental total quantity on each level. Okay? So again, no website in its wildest dream will be able to concoct this. Only AI can do this for you. Okay? So let's check out the code. Let's refresh this. Let me see where code is. Right here. So we have a message router. Okay. I think that's new. Let me just make this bigger. So here's our code here. I think this is the message broker. Okay. Created for you. Okay. Here's the order book code. Okay. Like this is very sophisticated. Just the first step. Okay. So again, code's here. I can assume you can create this on your own if you get this little product again from hftcode.com right here. Either one of these is fine. If you want the PDF I'm showing you, the one with the career thing, okay? And then you can see here how sophisticated this is. Random order. Opus does a fantastic job on coding stuff like this up. So 600 lines. So the new script, I think, is this order book. That's the only new code I have. Okay, so we're looking at that. It gives you basically synopsis what you want. You can ask what it's doing. You can ask all kinds of things in the code. So, for instance, if you don't know what's happening, what I like to do, give me a detailed coding breakdown on this what's called order book Python. Okay, so it's going to go out, and you could probably reduce this to using Haiku if you want the best response. Okay, so coming back to our PDF here, you can see here we're role playing all these different examples. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, and this is what you're expected to know. Okay, so we have here the question, and then we have the answer. Okay, so let's go through this. So we have a stat-R desk. Strategy identifies co-integrated pairs using angle Granger two-step method, then trades the spread when it deviates more than two standard deviations. Challenge the person, okay, with the angle Granger versus Johansson. Implication of each choice, non-stationary T co-integration relationship over time, how to handle the structural break, approach to the portfolio construction, impact on crowding of popular pair trading, and how to differentiate. So this is what you're expected to know usually, okay, to have the right answer. Okay, so these are just examples. Use angle Granger to test the integration. Use a single stock co-integration vector, but the system of 3 or more related stocks, 3 oil companies, multiple co-integrating relationships. How do you extend your framework to exploit multiple co-integrating vectors? How does this change your signal generation, position sizing? So you can prompt for this, and it will give you the code, so you can reverse engineer. And it can cover any scenario. Okay, I'm going to show you how. So here is our code breakdown of the prior request. It's very good at this. Okay. So again, you will not get this through a third-party website. None. No quant coach will tell you this. Only a detailed or an advanced AI like what we're showing you here. Okay. So here's what we got. We got a memory layout description here, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Why the split? Why sending? So if you know how to reverse engineer this and you get more confident doing this, this is better preparation for whatever level you're going with. Okay, so it's going to explain all the different price levels for you. Slosh, and again, you can do this in C++, FPGA code, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm just trying to show you, walk through the process. Mutation methods. Okay, all of this stuff. Cancel order, modify order. Okay, so it's all here. Great. Space complexity, design decisions, demoing. Okay, watch. So that's all there. Can you make me a MD file of this analysis, a coding breakdown? Okay, so it will do exactly what you want. So you can learn from this. Here's one scenario. Key here is knowing what to expect, and then be able to reverse engineer and prompt and prompt and prompt and prompt. When you may be spending money. Okay, this is how you properly prepare for an interview. You're showing you different scenarios here, and this would probably be more mid-level, senior level interviews you'll get in the field. Okay, okay. Coming back to this, so you can see here how this is getting complicated, and this is getting beyond senior, more into head of trading, head of a tech lead in a coding team. Okay, and you need to understand this stuff. And now it gets more complicated with machine learning alpha generation. These are the sort of things you are expected to know. Again, the key thing here is we're role playing and we're enabling. These are just simple, well, complex examples of what you can expect. Okay, and here's the example. Here's the coding. Okay, for it. And what would you be expected? You can ask all that. What would be expected of me to answer this way? Okay. So these are just basic examples. Well, I always say but these are just examples of what's expected of you. Okay. So there's this. Okay. And remember, you're going to have competition, maybe 10 interviewers. Okay. And they're only going to pick the top person. And these are the type of things you need to know about when it comes to why these jobs pay 300, 500,000 or whatever. We'll get to that in a minute. Again, we're only halfway, but I'm going to speed this up now. So we here have another example, option volatility surface trading. Okay. Again, options. This is the asset class you need to focus on. Options in the future space. And I've gone through that among many examples. Currency, treasury, commodity, crypto, the whole 9 yards. Options in the CME space. Okay, microstructure. And again, you want to get into more higher end, higher pay. It's going to be now involved in market making. This is how complex you have. So you might be applying for a market making strategy at a desk head, okay, electronic market maker, making billions of dollars. So you got to know your market making. And also in C++ on top of that. We're just doing this in Python. Strategy makes markets in liquid US equity names, okay? Approach using this standard framework. Starting point, adverse selection from informed traders, few position, dynamics, and multi-inventory. So they're going to ask you this. They're going to challenge you on the model, how to detect and respond to toxic flow. You can learn all that with the C++ Rhythmic API, okay? Because they have those functions available in the framework of the C++ model. Okay, that's the only place I've ever seen that. You can guarantee you will not get that in anything interactive brokers. Okay, just to show you, if you get really serious, you got to spend money to prepare for this as well. So you got to know toxic flow, optimize the queue position, inventory limit, latency considerations, economics of the market making, rebate spread, and the regulatory. And again, here's some coding examples. Okay, let's go back to what we have here. So we have now coding breakdown of what we just asked for. So here it is. Boom, boom, boom. Very advanced. Very nice. Okay. Just going to walk you through that. And again, this is just going into senior coding. Okay. So you want to get into the higher positions, you better know what you're moving into. Okay. The only way you can learn truthfully outside of AI, before AI, is on the job. Because this sort of stuff, no firm or no person is going to show you how to do this publicly. This is secret sauce stuff, right? So now we get into portfolio construction. Now this is getting into more portfolio management. Okay. This gets more and more advanced. Okay. Like I said, I'm speeding it up. Portfolio manager, again, role playing. That's all you really are expected of. Role playing. And this is not static. It's not like you can find these questions anywhere online. Because these people that will interview you are so experienced, they're just going to role play whatever they want and expect you to have a typical answer. Okay. So the only way to really circumvent this is either having the experience yourself or doing it through an advanced AI. Quant as a quant career coach. Okay. I want to act as a financial career coach. Here's my background. So if you want to know about negotiating salaries, what's expected of you, let's see. Here's an example prompt. So let's put this in here. Okay. And let's see what Claude says. And again, the best answer you'll always get is from Claude. I'm gonna create a new session here. Okay. Let me just put this prompt in an editor, because these can be big prompts. And to be truthful, the only one that will be able to handle it is Claude. Hate to say it. Okay. Oh, I don't think copy. It is. Okay. So let me just finish off this prompt. Okay. So you can ask the plain question for career. This is what a quant career coach will tell you. You don't have to pay whatever they charge. $100 for this kind of question. I can do it all for you. So your degree. So let's say I'm from PhD, PhD, um, MIT. I don't know. Let's say I've done, I don't know, CFA as just an extra. Current pass role. I'll just say, I don't know. I'm from Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs. At, 5 years experience. 5 years experience. Traded millions, just as random things. So here, let's put in C++, mainstream frameworks. I don't know, Quantlib, tools. Let's say Claude as a tool. Okay. Um, specific rules and firms. Let's say uh, Quant researcher. Okay. And rule quant researcher. Wouldn't say that. And yeah, let's leave it quant researcher timeline when you're interviewing. So let's say in 2 months. Okay. So now we're going to ask it. It's going to ask assess my strength and gaps relative to my target role. 4-week preparation. So I'll say 2 months. Identify most likely interview and topics for each target firm. Recommend specific resources for each gap area. Track my progress as we work through this. What are my chances? Okay, let's put that in the AI. Boom. New session. Remember, new session. All right. So let's continue along, see what it says. So the AI will do this. So now this is where it gets very interesting. I purposely asked specific examples of popular, very high paying firms. We have Citadel. Now, these are typical mock up interviews you get specifically from Citadel. Okay. Here's a probability question, another coding challenge, strategy question. And again, when you like some of the more junior they are, the more static and more repetitive they'll be. So the higher probably you'll get some similar kind of questioning here. Market making is another one. So here we have Two Sigma as an example as well. Here's a setup. Round one, it'll tell you what it is. Round two, round three, Two Sigma. And you can ask this. What are the processes from whatever firm? So each firm will be different. Each firm will have specific things they look for in the answers of your interview. I've covered that. I can't cover all companies. But here's the one that everybody will want, Renaissance Technologies. And knowing this really surprised me. Okay. Um, you'll see later on in the PDF, it'll say it's not what you know, it's how you come up with the process, how you think. This is where the physics folks come in. Okay. Um, so for instance, they'll look at statistical reasoning problems, particularly around predictive signal noise. Okay. So these are some of the examples, problem solving, you get into jump trading and all that. Okay. Now we can get into just generic high advanced HFT. And again, when you sit there, let me just finish here and let's see where we're at here. Okay. Coming back to our PDF here. Let me just see. I got an idea here to see how this, the progress of this one problem. Okay. So here we're now looking at generic HFT related questions. It's not about coding anymore. It's just about problem solving generically. You may need to ask pseudocode related questions. So you're an HFT strategist. Explain the mechanics, the edge, the risks, the technology requirements, and how the strategy has evolved as markets have become more competitive. Okay. Um, so we need to know not just the coding, okay, being some whiz kid coder. We have to understand the markets themselves and the math. This is a typical question. So we have to know about latency across correlated product. And that's what you'll learn by reading my PDFs in my membership. So market making, order flow prediction, cross venue arbitrage, optimal executing algorithms, and lead lag relationships on the ETFs. That's how the industry does it. And then as you're playing around with AI, an advanced one like Claude, a high quality one, it evolves in what the industry does. Why? Because Claude's always building into its data set, its training for reference for on the latest things going on in the market, the trading firms. So when it comes to interview questions, it's automatically updating based on those trends. So here again, there's no coding involved in these kind of questions. It's straight up problem solving related around um, the building not just the code, the scenario of the market, knowing it, knowing all the challenges that come within that strategy, and building out the code for it. Okay. So again, we can look at these sort of things. Okay. Advanced future strategy interview. And majority of the questions will be related around more options than anything and futures as well. So you need to know the terminology of the futures. That's where you need to take my course. Okay. So let's go back to our question. Okay. So it's building us basically a plan. Remember? I want you to act as my quantitative career coach. Here's my background. Okay. So we fill all that in. We want to assess the strengths, create a 4-week preparation plan with daily tasks, identify most likely if you interview for each target firm, which we show Citadel, Rentec, whoever, most likely interview topic for each firm. And this is just for one interview, one company. Okay. I'm giving you the entire breakdown. Recommend specific resource for each gap area, track my progress, and be honest. Okay. So here's what it's come back with. So we're a PhD at MIT, top 3 pedigree, instant credibility at every quant desk, and specifically only these firms will take you. You're a CFA, which is rare for quant researchers. You signal back to the interviewer, the recruiter, that you understand the markets, not just the math. You now put it in front of the line. And you can differentiate between pure machine learning and computer science quants. Again, you're now moving ahead of the line based upon the scenario you asked for. So we said we're 5 years at Goldman Sachs. Okay. Let's manage real risk, dealt with fill, slippage, P&L. Most quant researchers have 0 live trading. Okay, right there. So now, because of all your skills, what they're looking for is you need to have live trading skills. This is a major edge. See what your AI coach is telling you. Now you say, C++ quant live, lingua franca of sell-side pricing in HFT. Immediate, again, credibility for any rule touching derivative or low latency. Order book implementation shows you how to understand microstructure. Now, this is the current codebase we're working off, what you would download from hftcode.com. So this is what it'll give you. So we just created this order book implementation, which I just did live on this video. Microstructure, data structure with the it's so much to know. Bisect the base sorted list. This async hub architecture shows system thinking. So once you understand that, reverse engineer, dig it into it with AI, maybe mock trade it, as I showed you earlier. Okay, so now here's your gaps. You have no ML statistical research. So this is what it's telling you to do. You have to know alpha generation, factor modeling, and quant research, or the strategies of RSI, SMA. These are retail tier technical analysis, not quant research. You ain't going anywhere. So it's telling you right there. Severity of a gap. Okay, so this is the other one. You need to now play around with notebooks, Jupyter, no walk forward analysis, no sharp drawdown metrics, and that's where you need to understand the portfolio management I told you. Interviewers will show you your research process. We already kind of covered that in the PDF. We have no tests, 0 pi test, across 6,500 lines, but we can ask the AI to develop it for us and reverse engineer so we learn it. And we can also simulate it with interactive brokers, or we can actually live trade it as well. That is what you're going to be expecting when it comes to preparing for these interviews. Hopefully you see what these third-party websites do not give you, nor the quant researcher, quant career coach is not going to give you. You're wasting your money. These are absolutely trashy, garbage, nonsensical resources. AI is the only place to go. And it's very specific based upon your experience. Again, you list C++, but you showcase projects in all C++. If you claim to be C++, you need to demonstrate. So what you do is you take this project and convert it into C++, And the AI with Opus can do that for you, for sure. So we have Quant Lib, but nothing in this repository that shows it. Again, you can add it and play with it with what I'm showing. I'm not going to obviously do that. But I'm just showing you it's assessing your experience. You have Quant Lib on your resume, but nothing in this repo to show and use it. So you can ask the AI to develop it, build it, and you play with it, reverse engineer it to build that experience. Quant researchers at Buy-Side will test things like Ito, Lima, Black-Scholes derivation, Greeks, and stochastic. All, but nothing but object. Okay? The core of the quant researcher job, okay, no statistical arbitrage or factor work. So your job as a so-called quant researcher, you need to show and identify, test, and validate statistical relationships in financial data. We just saw the questions. So here's the honest assessment of your chances. Strong candidate on paper, but the presentation is the problem. All the pedigree you have, but you need to build it. So here we need to focus on probability and brain teasers, which are Jane Street, Optiver, and SIG, stochastic derivatives. Buy-Side, you need to be sharp on this. Live coding, everyone has to go through this, what I'm just showing you right now in the advanced PDF questions. You have to show order book, which is strong. You can reverse engineer, so you have potential to learn here. You'll face algo problems. And then on the research presentation, this is the weakest point. You need to research piece showing hypothesis, then data, then backtest, then evaluate. And the only way you can get to really evaluations by real world trading, live trading. It's the only way, regardless of how you build it out, C++ or Python. Realistic odds, 2-month preparation, 60 to 7% chance, up from 40 without prep. Your pedigree, and remember, you're top degree here, MIT, 5 years of Goldman Sachs, blah, blah, blah. So it gives you specifically what you need to learn and what to build. And you can get the AI to do that for you. This is just first week. And then second week, you can ask the AI to develop all of this for you. Reverse engineer, get familiar with it. And the best way to understand it is to live trade it. And that's for the high paying jobs. Pretty deadly. And it goes over all of the firms, these typical questions. And the focus. You will not again get that from a third party website. Not very specific, geared around your custom scenario, education, your experience, coding experience, your positions that you held. It's very specific. Okay, no third party website will give you this. Zero. The same no coach will give you. The AI will, and if you use a very advanced AI like Claude 4.6 Opus, it will give you that. And it's very specific to what it'll give you and what you need to learn for the specific firm. And I bet you can put in the firm and ask what specific out of it. So here's what we need to do to fill out the gap. Get the AI to build it for you and learn it, reverse engineer it, and preferably live trade it. Okay, so it's giving you all the resources that you need to know. Okay, and you can put in your plan and your progress with the AI and the project you're working on. Simple as that. So what I'm saying is you want to get a starting point of some kind of code bases as I demonstrated, and then be able to ask AI and to customize and build out farther from this. Okay. We ain't finished yet. We're about 3/4 of the way. So now we have all the different types of positions, all the different types of companies out there and what they expect of you and how to role play. And now we have a generic HFT situation as well. High frequency trading kind of experience. We can convert all this into C++ if we wanted to. Okay. So futures and options, where you got to be. Again, option strategy advanced. This is expected of you. The other resource you want to be part of is what I built out, the ecosystem, the community, all that. That's probably another place to be. Okay. So now we got to understand Greek analysis, and I talk about all the time, and different types of strategies, dispersion trading. Okay. Exotic pricing, again, options. Combined futures and options, which is very complicated. Okay. I have a course on that. Okay. That shows you how and what the institutions are doing. No other resource exists out there. I mean, you can use the AI you want, but I purposely planned this over the last 2 years for exactly this. Okay, so once you get in the expert level, blah 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 blah, and then we get in the brain teasers, blah 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 blah. Okay, so let's get towards the end. Okay, so this is all through the mainstream firms. Now, a lot of people will want to move into quick hedge funds, which is kind of growing, I guess. I've got that also covered as well. This is actually much more complicated than what you'll get the other firms we already talked about. We got to learn about MEV, MEVB. I mean, it's Uniswap, all the different things you need to know. Okay. You need to know this. And as I said, if you're not willing to spend a bit of money on this type of resource, um, sorry, I just don't know what to tell you. I don't know what more I can do to make this easier to jumpstart from. Okay. As a guide as well. All right. So we get regulatory compliance, all that fun stuff. Same with quant research and these kind of crypto futures trading firms. These are going to be in Asia, probably some in Europe and the Mid East. Okay, just the regulation. More strong, the more regulation there is, the higher, the lower probability you'll find these kind of firms in places like North America or Europe. As crypto becomes less and less irrelevant, these kind of firms become less and less relevant. They're still fairly high end. This is where it gets interesting. So we know the financial hubs in the world are London, New York, and Chicago. Okay, so what I've done here is I've done it by what kind of rules you can get, what kind of A you can expect. Okay, so for junior quant researcher, 200 to 400,000 at these firms that are in Chicago, or sorry, New York. Quant researcher, blah blah blah. So a lot of people are going to want to know where to go for the higher compensation. Again, just as a senior quant researcher, as I told you, you can expect $2 million. Okay. But if you want to move up and get higher pay, $10 million, you got to go into quant portfolio manager. I keep saying that. And that is going to be your incentive right there. And these are some of the firms that you can go for as you progress in your career for this. Quant developer, 200, like this is good money. 200, 350, but you want to get into the $1 million packages, this is where you got to go. So again, senior quant trader, 5 million. What's the highest out of all this? Right here. Portfolio managers, 10 million. Okay. And here's the HFT guys. Quote, FPGA engineer, 1.5, data scientist, 600, machine learning, 1 million. Again, the highest paying will always be portfolio manager. That's why they get questions that you've seen already that I've gone through in this video. The only way to do that is by role playing with a really high quality AI. Okay, so now I want to mention something about London. I find London usually is the highest paying in the world when you switch over from US dollar to British pound. Okay, so here we're getting into 1.5 million pounds, not dollars, pounds. So that's going to be a bit of a bump in pounds. Look again, quant portfolio manager, up to 8 million pounds. Again, these are the firms that you focus on. Okay. Again, pretty good money, but everything in terms of pay higher, like million plus, you want and beyond, let's say 2 million pounds, you're going to want to get into that portfolio and a portfolio manager, quantitative. And now those jobs are moving into, because of AI, wipe out a lot of these jobs and a lot of these rules. This is now called systematic portfolio manager. And then there's a head of the portfolio. So all of the stuff we already talked about, you're expected to know on top of being very advanced in the AI. The only way you can get there is using something like Claude 4.6. I mean, other AI can help you, but if you want to get there quicker and faster and with less errors and more reliable data, Claude or maybe DeepSeek as well could be mentioned as well. But again, 8 million for a quantitative portfolio manager, and next is senior quant trader. at 3 million, let alone if this job will exist in 6 months or a year because the AI can do it for you, right? So again, we get into Chicago. And this is where all the futures uh, trading shops will be. Okay, this is there is a shocker in here. I did see one that pays out up to 50 million. Okay, so again, Quant research in Chicago, 1.8 million. Quant developer, 1.2 million. Let's see. I do believe maybe it is the crypto. Um, so here we're now getting into crypto and Web3. Money's pretty good. Crypto PM, portfolio manager again, 5 million. Okay. So talks about the quant roles, remote. I don't know if that's going to happen. Um, Now, here's the other thing: negotiating strategies. You can ask the AI for that. Okay. So let's put that in there as another prompt. Let's do another new session here. Take that prompt. Every time you prompt, it'll give you a different answer. Important to know that. We'll let that run. Yeah, we're coming up to the last portion of this. So here's some of the references for Claude Code, more study resources as well. Ernie Chan, Marcos Lopez de Prado, these are standards. You'll know that Paul Wilmot's in there as well. Real Quant. AI definitely can help you. And that's pretty well it. But let me see. I wanted to make sure. Wanted to show you that I did see 50 million somewhere in here, but 8 million pounds is pretty good. But some of these portfolio managers can move up as they get more successful with a better track record, can move up to 50 million. Let's see here if I can find it. I do remember some of these portfolio managers do get paid up to 50 million. We'll just leave it at that. Okay. So we've gone through the typical, oh yeah. So here's your question here. We put in this question here. I'm receiving an offer, firm name in New York, whatever, X guarantee, blah, blah, blah. Other firm, blah, 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 blah. Help me evaluate these offers competitive to the market, develop a negotiating strategy for improving the first offer, draft a professional negotiable email, talking points to prepare me the common counter. So again, this is what's going to give you the base, the comparison across New York. And remember, this is live. So all the different types of firms, who pays what, highest paying, negotiating strategy, if depending upon who you are, okay, tactical as well, and typical email or talking points right here, and counter scenarios as well. Again, no other AI does that. All right, so you know where to go if you want this. Okay, it's half price right now. I'm gonna go up more. I mean, when I look at this, my original one, it was $250 that it was valued at. What I'm showing you right now, I'm I'm wanting to keep it low, okay, to enable people to come in with different scenarios, different backgrounds for career. Um, you will not be able to get anything better. You need a code base from somewhere, and then use that to ask all your questions. All right. So I just wanted to make this video and show you your true reality. Okay. And if you want to know more about what I do, just go to quantlabsnet.com. If you want the thing, go to hftcode.com. I manage that. Plus this one, quantlabsnet.com. You can learn, get a free C++ HFT book, ebook. I don't know how many thousand. I think it's about 2,000 people have downloaded for that. Or if you want to just try out my community, you can go here as well and be part of that quant analytics to get the reports on what institutions are trading to get you into the mindset of risk and relationships of correlation and whatnot, and read those every day. That gets generated in my group. Also, the other things we've got here, we've got the courses. This is the one course you want to start with if you want to get serious with uh, futures and options at the institutional level. It's very involved. Okay, 26 days. Drops a piece of content, very detailed, very deep, over 26 days. All this other stuff, if you whatever you want. But this is the core if you want to get really serious to learn about futures and options. On top of that, now you'll go into the plans here. You'll see my Quant Elite. Every year, I'm going in and dumping tons and tons of content. We've got 400 projects in there right now, and it's growing. This is really designed for firms that can afford this price. Okay. But once you start moving into these roles, right, making 100 grand, I'm sure that's a drop in the bucket for you as well. Okay, so we're done. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you got some use out of this. We shall talk to you later and have a good day.